Welcome to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast, connecting real people with expert advice to achieve a healthier lifestyle and live a more fulfilling and abundant life. Here is your host, Coach Tavia.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. I'm excited. It's been a few weeks before you've heard from you guys. Well, the new year hit and also the holidays hit and all the things, but we are back in motion and I'm back to give you the best of the best and the best people. And today I have a guest with me. Her name is Renee, and pronounce the last name for me, just so I know.
Wroten.
Okay, I just want to
Wroten.
Wroten.
Yeah.
W-R-O-T-N. And I have Renee with me today. Miss Renee, hello. How are you today?
Good, Tavia. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being here. So we actually connected through a mutual colleague, Miss Hannah, who was both of our coaches. Hannah, shout out to Hannah Hermanson. She's amazing. And Hannah said, you need to meet Renee and she needs to be on your podcast. And now I know why. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of rundown of everybody about you, Renee, first. So
Sure.
So first of all, Renee went to the IIN Academy and she's a holistic, health coach like myself, but she is also the founder and CEO of the Academy of Holistic Living, her own business. Like I said, she's a certified health coach. She's an author. She's actually a personal skincare formulator, which is exciting. And connoisseur, I should say. She's a creative designer of the 20-minute healthy meals. And a smoothie junkie. I love smoothies. And she likes the tropical fruits and the blueberries like we all. She is the go-to boss when it comes to helping women balance their lives forward to living healthier and happier lifestyles. She has firsthand experience when it comes to battling a series of multiple personal health challenges. And we can talk a little bit about her challenges too today, if you want to, that have lasted over a decade of her life. In 2005, she also had her own health challenges. You were diagnosed with some multiple uterine fibroids, which were muscular tumors. And we'll talk about that. And they usually are benign, but they grow inside the walls of the uterus. So that leads me into today of what our topic is. And we're going to talk about hormones, ladies, hormones. And men, if you're listening to this, share it with your wives. We are going to talk about hormones disruptors specifically. I have a masterclass on February 20th, and I'll be talking about a little bit more about hormones, hormone health, how to do all that. But I wanted to bring Renee in today because these are some things that people don't even think about. The hormone disruptors, the things that interrupt our hormones from being lively and being alive and communicating properly. So with further ado, how does that all sound? Did I get it right, Renee?
You got it right, Tavia. You got it right. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So tell me a little bit about, I told everybody a little about you already, but I definitely want to dive into your why. Or your MOFA, your motivating factor to do what you do. Everybody has a reason, like for me, why I'm a coach and stuff, or why we turned into this business. So tell me a little about your why for turning in and being this kind of coach for people, this kind of holistic health coach. Tell me about that.
Sure. Well, first of all, Tavia, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to share with you my story, of course, and how I got into this holistic health and wellness space. Some years ago, as you said, as Tavia said, I was diagnosed with multiple uterine fibroids, which are 99% non-cancerous tumors that grow inside and around the lining of the uterus of the woman, of course. So, and at the time when the doctor did the ultrasound or the sonogram, they couldn't, they were the size actually of a grapefruit and a 6-week pregnant woman, 6-week pregnant woman. Yeah. So this was actually, I was in my early 40s, 42 to be exact, when I was first diagnosed. And when I started my quest of questions, the doctors really didn't have any answers for me. So knowing me, I really don't believe in doing anything, taking drugs or going under the knife unless I really understand why. So we couldn't get to the root cause of why I had those growth tumors, those uterine fibroids. So I started doing my own research. Because I really wanted to understand why, so I can see if there was a better way, a more natural way, other than, taking over the counter drugs or prescribed medications or going under the knife. Sometimes we have surgeries and it's really not necessary, right? Unless it's life threatening. So most of our illnesses and diseases are preventable. So I wanted to, because I was so young. I mean, 42 is to me still young, right? Yeah. So I wanted to keep all of my goods, and I did not want to lose them. So that's where my story began. So I started doing my research, and that's honestly how I ended up at IIN, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. That's how I ended up there. And thankfully, I got introduced to the founder for IIN, along with all of the wealth of instructors who are experts in their fields, and start teaching us the different methodologies, how to heal our bodies naturally with food. Food is medicinal, and and lifestyle. It has a lot to do with our lifestyle, and that's when my healing process started to take place. But, the uterine fibroids, was also correlated with imbalanced hormones. Mm-hmm. And I talk a lot about that, in that, in my, the book. So all these years, I've been living my life, as a holistic health and wellness coach, and implementing healthy lifestyle habits. And today I still use those same habits.
Awesome. So I want to kind of go right into the whole uterine fibroids thing. So I was diagnosed with endometriosis when I was 16. Endometriosis. And since then, I'd had multiple cysts, ovarian cysts as well. And I had one the size of a grapefruit as well. I remember going to the ER. I've had one the size of a golf ball, orange. I've had multiple. Since then that has changed, since my 20s. That was a lot happened in my 20s, in my teens. But since then that's changed partly because I've changed some of the things, my terrain, if you will, my diet, and a lot of different things. I take a lot of different supplements, and I've taken care of my body better. So that being said, there's always a root cause. And I didn't know that, growing up, that there was a root to my endometriosis. There was a root to why I was getting all these ovarian cysts. There's always a root to everything. And there was a root to why you got the fibroids, right?
Yes.
So I always talk about root cause. So can you kind of dive into that for the listeners, what you think your root cause was for that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So my root cause was a lot about nutrition. Okay. That was one of the biggest root causes. Mm-hmm. Not getting enough of the nutrient dense foods. Growing up as kids, sometimes we eat hot dogs. We were eating chicken nuggets and all those things that might have been good to us, but they weren't nutrient dense foods. Right. And our parents, either they knew or they didn't know. So unfortunately, it sticks with us as we age and we get older, and it starts to wreak havoc on our hormones, because, teenagers begin to start their hormones really early. Mm-hmm. And we don't think about this. We just think about the food and how good it is, but we don't think about the nutrition and the nutritional value that's within the food. So I believe mine stemmed from a young kid growing up, eating all of those, those foods that weren't so nutritious for us. Mm-hmm. And then things start to spiral out of control because we weren't keeping up. Maybe our parents wasn't keeping up with what our bodies needed or didn't need. And not only that, but some of the prescribed medications also wreaked havoc on our hormones. And it's a plethora of things that start this spiral our hormones spiral out of control. And when our hormones are out of control, then other diseases start, right?
Yeah.
And so fibroids was considered as a disease, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
right.
Because it's something that's not functioning properly within the human body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. The body's creating that because it's saying, I don't like what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's just like a tumor cyst or fibroid. They're all the same. And that it's a collection of cells, of abnormal cells that aren't supposed to be there for a why reason. Well, because there was an imbalance of something. Right. Right. So yeah. Now you were talking about like growing up, nutrition and you were talking about, going into like, as we go into puberty and women starting their menses, ladies, girls, and then, men going through this, their change too. And, I grew up, I was the kid of it was 80s, 90s kids, basically. And I can tell you right now, I mean, there was toxins back then, but there's even more toxins now that our kids are exposed to. And those are disruptors, which is what we're talking about today, right?
Yes.
So I want to talk about those disruptors. And like, for example, a shampoo has disruptors in it.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. Shampoos, chemicals, formaldehyde, so many. Soaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many disruptors and we use them every day. Those of us, well, if we're on the healthier kick, we know better not to use those now. Right. But the majority of society are using all of the disruptors that I'm about to share with you every single day.
Ooh, let's hear them. We don't want to hear them. Yeah.
Okay. So we know GMOs, which is genetically modified organisms. And I can remember back when the natural food stores had notes on all the GMOs that they were taking out of their store. I can remember that.
Yeah.
So GMOs are genetically modified organisms. And so think of it like this. Anything that's artificial, that's being put inside of, I don't know, a bag of chips or anything that's added to something that's not natural. That's an easy way to look at it. Anything that's added to something that, say like an apple, I'll just use an apple for explanation purposes. Mm-hmm. If you have an apple and someone add syrup to it, or maybe that's not a good example.
Sugar. And more sugar on top. Yeah.
Sugar is a disruptor, a hormone disruptor, big time. Any type of added sugar is a hormone disruptor. Mm-hmm. So it's just not, GMOs are not good to consume for the human body. So keep that in mind when you're going shopping. And a lot of the labels on packaging bags will say non-GMO. And if it doesn't say non-GMO, 9 times out of 10, it's a GMO. So you want to stay away from those.
Okay.
That's one of the disruptors. That's the biggest disruptor.
That's one. Yeah.
Another one is hydrogenated oils.
Okay.
And examples of those hydrogenated oils are vegetable oil. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. We grew up as kids. That's what our parents used, was vegetable oil.
Good old Crisco.
Yeah, Crisco. Yeah.
My grandma, my mom used Crisco.
All of those, right?
Yeah.
Cottonseed oil.
Yeah.
Soybean oil. Palm oil. Those are all partially hydrogenated oils, right?
Right.
These are things that we eat, that we use and we eat and we feed our bodies with every day. So I'm talking about right now, I'm going through the foods really quickly, just to give folks an idea what these hormone disruptors are doing that's causing our hormones to become out of balance. And I'll talk about the other part later. Microwave popcorn. Mm-hmm. That's another one. And why is that?
Darn it. We love it.
I know it. We love popcorn. We watching a movie, we want to eat popcorn, right? So why is microwave popcorn unhealthy for us? It's a chemically lined bag to the GMO kernels, right? To the fumes that are released from the artificial butter flavoring. Mm. Containing, and some of these words I'm going to try to pronounce, but if we can't pronounce these words, then we shouldn't be eating them.
Right.
Right. So this one is called, it's a diacetyl, DIACETYL, right?
Okay. Diacetyl. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's toxic to humans. And studies have shown that occupational exposure to diacetyl has been associated with severe respiratory impairment.
Wow.
And it's, so if you want to put it lightly, it says is the bronchiolitis.
Bronchitis?
Well, they call it bronchiolitis.
Oh, bronchiolitis.
Bronchiolitis, which is irreversible, according to the studies that I found.
Yeah.
So that's what's inside that microwavable popcorn. Grilled meat. When we're at Memorial Day, Labor Day, we're all, we're with our family, our friends, grilling at the beach, at the park. So grilling meats, it's not good, especially for females. Yeah. Because it's causing problems with our hormones. It's the grill. It's, think about it, the smoke that's coming from the coal and all the other things, and it's just not good. It releases carcinogens, called heterocyclic, which the microwave also does the same thing.
So one thing I wanted to just so people understand. So you're saying grilling, like all grilling, even if it's charcoal versus gas. So gas isn't safe?
The gas, I'm not so sure about, but I do know the charcoal for sure.
Yeah, I know the charcoal for sure.
The gas might be a little safer,
but I've heard the gas is safer, but it's still
a grill.
Yeah, they're still releasing.
It's still a grill.
Gotcha.
So if you have to grill, you probably want to at least do the gas or not do it so often.
Right. Or just bake your stuff.
Right. Exactly. Bake it. Yeah. Bake it. Mm-hmm. So, any type of grilled meat or, corn. Here's another big one: canned food, canned goods, because of the lining inside of the cans. Mm-hmm. It's mostly aluminum. But now they say it's BPA free, but how do we know? It's supposed to be BPA free. So I would recommend that if you want something on the go quickly, try to look for the cartons. They have cartons of beans. Mm-hmm. If you need it, to go camping.
Or frozen. Frozen and frozen veggies.
Frozen is much better. Frozen,
mm-hmm.
or fresh is better. That's the first two choices you want to do is frozen or fresh. Fresh first, frozen second. Absolutely last are the cans, or if you can find a carton as opposed to a can. Refined sugar. We know this is refined sugar is cancer causing. By far, it's high in fructose corn syrup. Mm-hmm. So what are the healthier choices? If you have to do sweeteners, and I know I'm probably going through this quickly, but maple syrup, raw honey, stevia, those are healthier sweeteners. If you like me, I like gluten-free pancakes. I like making my own pancakes. So I use, of course, maple syrup, the healthiest kind, because what is a dry pancake? Who wants a dry pancake, right?
Right.
You don't want a dry pancake. So we want to think about those things that's not going to feed our hormones cancer or feed our cancer. We don't want to, all of us have, cancer cells within our bodies, but what are we feeding? Are we feeding them to grow? Or are we feeding them to die, to stay, Mm-hmm. Does it make sense? So, and salted, pickled, and smoked foods.
I love pickles.
I know. Salted, pickled, or smoked foods. That's not smoked again. We just talked about the smoked, right?
Yeah, I'm not a smoked person, but
these are foods that contain a lot of preservatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and preservatives are what sustains the life, the shelf life of foods. Right. That's what a preservative it basically is. Sometimes you go to the grocery store, you buy bagged food or canned food, and you see, say for instance, if you buy it 2023, it might say good till 2025. Well, how long has it been on the shelf prior to that? So that's why it's always safer to buy fresh fresh from the farmer's market, fresh from the natural food stores, or wherever you can, afford to buy your natural fruit and veggies. You just want to always, and then the closer to home you buy your produce is better also.
Right.
Right.
I love the farmers markets.
Farmers markets is amazing because you get it from farmers who believe in the environment, not altering the environment, trying to grow it in the healthiest soils. Right.
Yeah.
And then we have soda and carbonated beverages. This is another hormone disruptor. There's no nutritional value in sodas, period.
No.
They are filled with high fructose corn syrup, dyes, and a host of other chemicals. And this is why people get addicted to sodas, because whatever that chemical in there, it's just feeding them and they're loving it It's keeping them, I don't know. But I stopped doing sodas when I was 13 years old. So that was the last time I had a soda.
Yeah.
But it also has, what is it called? Aspartame.
Oh, aspartame. Aspartame.
Yeah, aspartame. Thank you.
Yes.
See, I can't pronounce these.
It's okay. That's what I'm here for. Yeah.
Words that I don't use in my food.
Yeah. You're like, what is that? Aspartame. Yeah. The artificial sweeteners.
Yes. The artificial sweeteners, when they consider it's a low calorie, artificial, non-saccharide sweetener, which is 200 times sweeter than sucrose. Right. Yeah. So these are the things that's in these little pink packages, these yellow packages, but this is the type of ingredient that you do not want in your drinks or your food. Okay. And then next we have a white flour. Mm-hmm. We all grew up on white flour, using it to bake and to make stuff with. So there's the nutritional value has been removed.
Yeah.
So anytime there's no nutritional value, you don't want to use it. And this is one of the questions that I ask myself when I'm hungry, and that's why they have 5 fast food places, because they know people get hungry on the spot. And sometimes I get hungry on the spot and I have to ask myself, is this going to feed your body good or not so good?
Right.
And so either I skip the fast food, even the healthiest fast food. Sometimes I just want to come home and cook what I know is going to be super good. Right.
Yeah.
So these are the questions that we want to think about asking ourselves. Is it worth it? So white flour. Another one is farm fish.
Oh, yeah. Don't get farm raised fish. No.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more than 60% of the salmon consumed in the United States from a farming operation where they are treated with antibiotics.
And they dye the
antibiotics, huh?
And the pink that you see is a dye. They dye the fish that color to make it more pinker when you see it at the store. That's
and it make it appealing to the eye.
Yeah,
it makes. Is that crazy?
I know.
Oh,
I learned that. Mm-hmm.
Killing us.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on. So in other words, if you're going to do fish, you want to do the wild salmon. If you have to do fish, that's
right.
Full of omega-3s, which our bodies need and love. So that's okay. So that's for the foods for now. So let's move to the other toxic chemicals found in our everyday products that we use. Our soaps for our hair, our shampoos, our toothbrush, our toothpaste. Our toothpaste. These little hidden chemicals, and I believe I put this in my book, but it's a list of stuff that we cannot pronounce, ingredients that we cannot pronounce, and that's another reason why I ended up on this deodorant kit, making my own deodorant, because I couldn't find because everything I looked for had some kind of chemical in it, which was breaking out my skin, my underarms, so that's the reason why I'm in this holistic space, because of those type of reasons. But one of the main ingredients in that's found in toothpaste is triclosan. It's tricoslan. That's one of the main ingredients in a lot of the toothpastes.
Yep.
A lot of the toothpaste, rather.
Yeah, the good old Crest is not good for you.
No, it's not. It's just
I don't use any name brand. I actually use just for the listeners to know, what do I use? Just as we're talking about toothpaste, I actually use a brand called Biocidin. And for you, might it actually has essential oils in it. Is the main ingredients, and it's basically it kills the biofilm, that's on your teeth too. It's fluoride free. It's really, really good. It tastes good too. And then I use also silver gel. Silver is antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, everything. And I use silver.
Silver gel. Yeah. I've heard of
So that's what I use.
Silver gel. What was the other one that you named?
It's called Biocidin. Is what I use. Yeah. I have to get they have Biocidin is actually also it's you could take it in drops for viruses, bacteria, things like that. Like, it's an herbal remedy. So, but they have a toothpaste, and I'll bring it up. It's called Dental Cidin by Biocidin Botanicals. Dental Cidin. I'll show you what it looks like from my screen, and the people, if they're watching, you could see.
Dental Cidin.
It's a really good one. Fluoride free, natural mint, professional strength, removes biofilm, whitens teeth, freshens breath. It's great. And it's good stuff. So, anyways, so we were running out of time here, so I know we got to go, but I had to share that. So I'll let you continue.
There's so many natural toothpastes on the market. Just do your research for the listeners. Read the ingredients. They have Ayurvedic toothpaste. They have neem and just different types, but look at the brands. Next, we have laundry chemicals found in chlorine. A lot of people still use Clorox, chlorine, and it's just so many. It's so many in our perfumes. People still wear perfumes, so there's a whole list of things, but I share.
That's a lot. You've listed a lot. That's great.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And the thing is like, we're not going out and telling you just to dump everything that you have in your household. That's not what we're saying. Is being mindful, right? Be mindful and watch when you're buying these things, and look in the ingredients and look what they have. And a lot of people just, they don't know because they don't know, and that's what we're here today talking about, right? Is these things that can cause these dysbioses and these hormone disbalances that you and I both had, right? Is caused by all these things. And that's just a small portion of why things happen too, right? That's not the whole picture to why you got fibroids or I got endometriosis. There's some other things too. And we can talk about that another day, but what it comes down to, Renee, is what? Nutrition. Start with the basics, right? Start with the basics and feeding. What do you have control of? You have control of what goes in your mouth. You go to the grocery store. I go to the grocery store. We have control over it, right?
Yes.
So you can start there, and no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. I just had a chocolate chip cookie before here. It was gluten-free. I will say that. And it was homemade, but I had one cookie and I gave one to my assistant, and it's like, we still got to live. Right.
Yeah.
That was my sweet treat for the day, but I'm not going to gobble up the whole thing tonight or anything. No.
Right.
So,
and that's not what we're here. We're not here to say, stop everything you're doing. Everything is bad. We are just educating the listeners on how to take better care of their health and well-being, so you can start feeling better, so you can have more energy, as opposed to, you want to thrive as opposed to surviving,
Absolutely.
I do. I would like thriving as opposed to just surviving, right?
We all need to thrive, not survive. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. And I have to apologize for the dog barking in the back. Just got back from a walk. So for the listeners out there, you can hear my dog barking. She's saying, Mom, we're done. We want to come see you. So
he's letting you know I'm back.
I know. So I apologize for the listeners that everybody's hearing that dog bark. That's my life.
No worries.
But anyways, we'll wrap this up now, since the dog is saying, Mom, I need you to. And I appreciate you being on. This was really good information. So Renee also, just to wrap things up too, she does have a free gift for any of the listeners too. And you are offering a guide to balancing hormones, right?
Yes, I have an ultimate guide to balance your hormones naturally. And Tavia, I have a link here. It's
Okay.
only for the listeners. Where
Okay.
can I send that link? Can I put it in the chat?
You can text it to me and I'll put it on the down below. So go ahead and send it to me directly in my email or my phone. But you can also, how do people contact you if they want more information?
So they can find me at theholisticboss.com.
Okay.
And
holisticboss.com.
Theholisticboss.com. At the Holistic Boss on Instagram.
Okay.
I don't do much on Instagram, but I do have a presence there, so I will get better. That's it. They can, if they need me they can schedule a free, wellness discovery session.
Awesome.
If they want to talk more, they can schedule that on my website.
Okay.
There's a couple of things that they can get for free. They just scroll down and I got a habit tracker for them if they're interested in that as well.
Awesome.
And then this free guide to balance your hormones naturally.
Awesome. I love it.
Can it go in the chat? This link is so long. If I put it in the chat, will it work for you or no?
Yeah. Feel free to put it in the chat. Yeah, I'll save it right now.
There you go.
So wonderful, wonderful. Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you. And again, if anybody has any questions or wants to know more about hormones, hormone disruptors, other things, she does wonderful, wonderful other things too, so can support you in other ways. So please reach out to Renee.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tavia.
You're welcome. Okay. Have a good day. And everybody have an awesome weekend, awesome day, whenever time you're listening to this. Thank you for listening and be well. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. To learn more about the topics mentioned on today's show, please visit sweetcoachtavia.com.